We're talking about coccidioidomycosis, or cocci, also known more commonly as valley fever. It's a disease caused by inhaling spores that are commonly found in the top level of soil, usually about 1 to 6 inches deep. The first known diagnosis was in the late 1800s. It was named in the mid-1900s. A lot of people who have pneumonia or flu-like symptoms and have been exposed by inhaling these spores might actually have cocci instead of other things like COVID-19, pneumonia, or the flu. In California, where it's a lot more well-known, it's known to cause between 15 to 30% of community-obtained pneumonias there in that state. Cocci could be found in this soil that's been disturbed through a large development project. Again, it's found in the first 1 to 6 inches of the top layer of soil. When it's disturbed through construction or high winds or recreation or vehicles, that's when it can get into the air and people might be able to breathe it in. So a lot of commercial development, residential development involves digging up the top layer of soil, and that's a common way for cocci spores to get in the air. People that work in that occupation have probably already been exposed or have immunity. It kind of shows also how low-risk serious illness really is for the general population. So it's not something we should lose sleep about or change our activities too much. To protect yourself on the job site, you might want to wear an N95 mask. I think that's a lot of reasons why they use water trucks to wet down the soil so there's not a lot of dust kicked up to add to the air pollution. We're back at the Health Department office, our main headquarters in St. George for the 5-county area, to talk to Danny, our epidemiologist, to learn a little bit more about local cases over the past few years of cocci or valley fever, how it's affected our population. Can you tell us a little bit about cocci activity in our district over the past few years?
The confirmed number of cocci cases is actually really low because a lot of people will get over the disease, so before they're even diagnosed, they're feeling better, they're on the up and up. The other thing is that the definition of what is a confirmed case of cocci, sometimes the criteria is not met. So for example, not all the proper labs are performed by a physician. So something interesting here about our area is that we are the only area where cocci is endemic in the state of Utah. So a lot of physicians don't realize that, so when they're treating someone. But normally someone will have coughing symptoms, fevers, or chills for a period of time. We're talking 2-3 weeks. It just kind of won't go away. Sometimes people suspect that it's tuberculosis or another disease. Really the only way someone can find out if that's really what they're experiencing is by testing. Normally it's just a blood test that's done. There are 2 different things that they look at to see if someone has a current infection or a past infection. A lot of times there's x-rays done too. What they look for is things called nodules or spread throughout the lungs because it will show since fungus disease. You don't know it's a fungus until though you take a culture, a specimen from the lungs, however.
Okay, so the specimen's taken from the lungs and then you can actually grow it to see if the fungus develops, if
Correct.
That's in your lungs. Other than antifungal medications, it's mostly a recover at home, just give it time, right?
Yeah, so majority of people will actually recover either on their own. Some of the mild or more severe cases, they will need a fungal medication. Typically 4 to 6 months is what they'll take that for. But there are a few cases even in our area where people have had it more severe, where they've had it in other places in their body other than just in their lungs, or have to take the fungal medication for life. And so people can die from it. It's not as common, but it can happen.
You say spread to other parts of the body. What do those symptoms look like?
Yeah, so sometimes people will grow growths on elbows or other body parts. Sometimes it can spread to the central nervous system, so it can affect them neurologically. So it just depends on where in the body that cocci is in order for someone to show those type of symptoms. And again, you really won't know unless you take a culture from it.
Right, until it's tested.
Mm-hmm.